Hello Stampin' Friends, this is Jeannie Moss, the Bluegrass Stamper. Welcome to my studio. I'm here in the Bluegrass state of Kentucky, and today we are going to make this cute little box. So this is a great little gift box, and it is made to hold a Hershey bar. This is just a regular size Hershey bar. So this box is what we're making today. I am using the Unbounded Beauty Suite, which includes the Unbounded Love stamp set. I'm going to be using the Happy Birthday stamp, and I'll be using, oh, my dies are on the wall. I can't show you the dies. I have a wall where I keep my dies, and they are up there on the wall. But we're going to be using some of the leaf dies from this set, Flowers of Beauty. We'll be using this flower and the stamp that colors the inside. It's a two-step. And then we'll be using some of the dies from this stamp set as well. So I'm using the stamps from this, and then this one I'm using the leaves from this set. I'm also using the DSP. It's a 12 by 12 DSP, and I've used a lot of it already, but this is the piece that we'll be using today. But there's also several others to choose from. Now these include the new in colors. So if you're looking for some paper to go with the new in colors, this is a good choice. So that's what we'll be using. We'll need a piece of cardstock. This is 6.5 by 8.25. You'll need a piece of DSP, a designer series paper. This is 2 by 6. And then you'll need some scraps to stamp on. I've got a little rectangle here. I've got this could be a scrap. This could be a scrap. This is Pretty Peacock Basic White. And then you'll need whatever you want to decorate your box. I'm using this little rectangle that I'll be putting together with another rectangle of this Summer Splash, which is what this color is. So let's get started. Oh, I also have a piece of ribbon. This is the Pretty in Pink ribbon. It is bordered, the Pretty in Pink bordered ribbon. And I'll be using my Berry Burst regular Stampin' Write marker and Pretty Peacock ink. Okay, so like I said, this is 6.5 by 8.25. And the first thing we're gonna do is do some scoring on this piece. So I've got my scoring tool set up for this. And I'm going to put my DSP with the long side up, and I'm going to score at 3/8, 7/8, 7 3/8, and 7 7/8. That's on the long side. Again, 3/8, 7/8, 7 3/8, 7 7/8. Then on the short side, we'll be putting it in short side up, and we'll be scoring at 2.5, 3, 5.5, and 6. 2.5, 3, 5.5, and 6. And I have already done that, so I have my piece already scored. So now we will just fold it on all those score lines, and you can fold all the same direction because we are making a box, so they're all going the same direction. And now we are ready to do some cutting. So the first thing, I'm going to kind of mark and cut so you can see what I'm doing and what's being cut out. So the first thing we're going to cut out are these two panels and these two panels. Now here we've got it laying so that it's vertical, and we have the two little score lines over here, and this is the big panel on the right. So we're going to cut out these two at the top and these two at the bottom. And you can save those pieces if you're one of those that likes to save scraps like my friend Janet. You can save those or you can throw those away. I am throwing those away. So now I have this. Our next step, we're going to cut out these two sections. So we're going to cut out these two in this corner and these two in this corner. All right, so we've cut out two here, two here, two here, and two here. Our next step is going to be to cut out the four corners of this. So we're going to cut this one, this one, this one, and this one. We're going to cut those away. So all four of those corners. So now we've got something that kind of looks like stair steps. And these are also just trash, unless you like to save the little scraps. So we've done everything we've cut away. We're done with cutting away. We are still going to make some cuts, but we are finished with cutting away. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors, and I'm going to switch to some smaller scissors here. And I'm just going to wedge those two long flaps. And this is just so that they'll fold into our box nicely. So you can see, hopefully you can see what I've done there is just to wedge that a little bit to make that into a kind of a flap. And then we need to cut some more flaps. So this is important to get this the right direction. We are going to cut up here. And we are going to cut up here. We're going to flip it around. We're going to cut up here. And we're going to cut up here. So now we have two little flaps and a big two-section flap on each end, two small ones and a larger one. And then we're going to wedge those little flaps so that just so they are easier to fold. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm just taking a little bit, cutting at an angle from kind of the inside towards the outer corner on all four of those flaps. And now we are finished with our cutting and our box is almost finished. So now our next step is going to be, we've already folded on all our score lines. Our next step is going to be to flip over, so we're working with the inside of the box. We've got the big flap on the right, the two little ones on the left. We're going to fold the two smaller flaps in. And then on this side, we're going to fold just this flap in. And that should perfectly cover that one flap. So we've got two flaps here, but we're only covering this one with this one outer panel. If you're covering 2 of those, you've gone too far. You only want to fold this one flap in, and so it'll meet there, and you'll put your adhesive on this flap and seal that shut. So I'm just using the multi-purpose glue, and I'll have to hold it for a few seconds to get it to adhere well. So there, I'm folding this one flap in and secure that, and now my box is nice and flat. So while the box is nice and flat, you can go ahead and decorate it. And then when you're finished decorating, all you'll do is pop that up and put your flaps in and fold this flap in, and your box is finished. But for my decoration, I'm going to be working on the side that has the long flaps, because there's a seam over here, and I don't want that on the front of my box. That's going to be on the back of my box. That's where we glued it together. So we want the side with the 2 long flaps up, and we are ready to put our DSP on. And that is designer series paper, if you're not familiar with the term DSP. And we've got about 1/4 of an inch margin on that section. So there's our DSP. Then I'm going to take this little white rectangle that I've cut out, and I've just cut out something that would be the right size for my happy birthday stamp. I'm inking this up with Pretty Peacock. I'm just going to stamp it right in the center of that. I'm done with this ink pad. And this is now, as soon as it's dry, we're going to put it on a little layer of the same color we've been using, this Summer Splash. And it's got about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. And now this is going to go on our card. I'm going to put it on about right there, and I'm just going to glue it. And then I've taken just a scrap of white, and I've stamped with Pretty in Pink. And this has it's a 2-step stamp. So I'm going to ink this up. This is the outline portion of the stamp. Excuse me. And then I'm going to take the inside portion. This is a solid portion, and I'm going to actually ink that up, but then I'm going to stamp it once on my scrap paper, just because I don't want it quite so dark. And I'm going to line that up. I'm going to try to do that without you seeing the top of my head, but I'm not sure if I can do it. So now we've colored our image just by using that stamp. And you can see there are some whites and lights and darks in that. It's made to color the image. And I have the Berry Burst Stamp and Write marker. And if you notice on the DSP, it has these little Berry Burst flower centers. And so what I'm going to do with that is just add some lines and some dots with this marker, so that I give my flower a center. Next, I've taken this, and I'm not going to make you watch that, but there's a coordinating die that goes with this, and I've lined that up, and I've run it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine to cut it out. But I have one pre-cut. I also have cut out some leaves. These are the leaves from the Unbounded Love. And I've taken those and cut those out of that scrap of Pretty Peacock. So I have 2 leaves. And my piece of ribbon, Now's a good time to tie that piece of ribbon around. So I'm going to put that on. And I'm just going to tie that in a knot, in a half knot. And I'll trim the ends on that. So there's our ribbon. I'm taking a couple of dimensionals on the back of the flower. And that'll give a little pop to that flower. And then I'll just take a little bit of my glue and very gently I'm going to just touch in some little spots on the back of these leaves. You don't want a lot of glue on this, just a little bit here and there. Put those two up there. This one, same thing, just a few little touches of glue. And that one I'm going to tuck under my flower. Oops. Hey, he stayed on my finger. Got glue on my fingers. And there's our box. I've got a Hershey bar to put right in there. We will seal these flaps and close these flaps. And then the only other thing that I did for this box was I added a little bit of bling. So I used some of my basic rhinestone jewels and I just put them, come on, let go. I must not have got the glue with that one. Hang on, let me get a different one. There we go. I have too much glue on my fingers. It wants to stay on my fingers. All right. And then let's see if this one will stick now. It just sure wants to stick on my finger. There we go. Oops. Hello. Here we go. So there's our cute little Hershey box. And like I said, it holds a regular size Hershey candy bar. This can actually be slid a little bit if it's not where you like it, because we did not seal it anywhere. And there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this project. If you have any questions or you'd like to contact me, you can reach me at bluegrassstamper@gmail.com. If you'd like to see more projects, I have a website, www.bluegrassstamper.com. Love to hear from you. If you want to get the supplies to make this project, I would love to help you out with that. I would love for you to shop with me. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you again. Thank you. Bye.